Book is titled as Ecological Resilience and written by Daniel Goleman. More than a book, this book is about awareness of how Earth and your action affect the world around you. This includes learning the impact of various products and process on geosphere and the biosphere and the sociosphere. Geosphere are the like we live on Earth where we're connected with a lot of things like earth, mountain, river, and it is affected by our activity. And this is a lot more governed by the thing we use in our day-to-day life. And sociosphere, like our social connectivity with person. It is now I can give an example of how sociosphere is affected by our habit of using some product like our phone, like सोशल मीडिया. जैसे कि हम लोग सोशल मीडिया पे आजकल इन फिजिकल कन्वर्सेशन के बजाय हम लोग सोशल मीडिया प्रेफर करते हैं. इसके वजह से जो पहले की हारमोनी थी हमारी बैठ के बात करने की वो एंड हो रही है. एंड another thing this book is talked about is how our consumer behavior, how we can improve our buying skill to buy the right thing. Like many a time I want to give example of few things later stage. For now, first example I am giving is plastic bottle. Right? It is mentioned in this book. We are not seeing what are the product used in manufacturing plastic bottle. Nowadays there is a trend of buying BPA free bottle. BPA पहले क्या होता था? BPA एक केमिकल है, बिस्फेनॉल ए. पहले ये बोतल में इंक्लूड रहती थी और जब हम उस बोतल में गर्म पानी डालते थे तो रिएक्ट करते थे गर्म पानी से और हमारे हेल्थ मतलब हम लोग उसको डाइजेस्ट करते थे और उसके वजह से हमें डायबिटीज, कार्डियोवास्कुलर डिजीज और ब्लड प्रेशर इंक्रीज होती थी. लेकिन बहुत ये रिसर्च के बाद पता चला कि ये बीपीए बहुत हानिकारक है और इसको अब बैन कर दिया गया है. एज एन कंज्यूमर वी कैन कंसर्न कंज्यूमर, हम लोग बार बार जब हम लोग बोतल खरीदने जाए तो हमारे इंट्यूशन भी ये होनी चाहिए कि हम पूरी लेवल को पढ़े कि इसमें क्या क्या कंटेन है. और बहुत इसका मेजर इफेक्ट तब पता चला जब बहुत बच्चे का डेथ इसकी वजह से मिला. और जो मिल्क बोतल जब बच्चे को फीड करने के लिए उसमें मिल्क रखते थे उससे बहुत सारे बच्चे में इन्फेंट में प्रॉब्लम आनी स्टार्ट हुई. फिर इस पर रिसर्च हुआ तो पता चला बीपीए कितनी हानिकारक है. एंड अनदर एग्जांपल आई वांट टू गिव इज लाइक फास्ट फैशन जैसे पेंटालून है, ट्रेंड है, जूडियो है. तो क्या करती है पर वीक हमेशा नए नए सेट ऑफ क्लॉथ लॉन्च करती है. और इस क्लॉथ का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वो लोग कैसे करती है इसके पीछे का इस बुक में डाटा दिया गया है. वो लोग जो अनडेवलप्ड कंट्री है वहाँ पे इसका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्लांट लगाते हैं और जो वर्कर हैं जो अनएजुकेटेड हैं, अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड हैं, उससे वो लोग मैन्युफैक्चर करवाते ताकि कॉस्ट कटिंग हो. और वो लोग मतलब यू विल बी अमेज्ड टू नो दैट दे आर वर्किंग 17 to 18 आवर to meet the requirement of this fast fashion brand. And जैसे पहले हम लोग कॉटन और खादी के कपड़े यूज करते थे, nowadays you are using polyester thing. जब हम लोग इसको डिस्पोज करते हैं, ये डिस्पोज होती है, it take around 200 years to dispose. And the dye that they are using to bring you with attractive color are ultimately going to the drainage system and it is harming whole water bodies. And we must another time when you will go to buy the cloth, you must realize the cost of manufacturing it, not that cost which is leveled on the cloth, but the cost which is behind it. And Another example is
There are so many hidden costs, so many
yes,
things
yes,
that we buy. So apart from the monetary cost of the this thing, there is a lot of environmental cost that we are already
and
paying.
human cost.
Yeah, human cost and environmental cost that we are, means others are paying for that product.
Yes,
We are only paying the monetary cost, but there are already the other costs like social cost and environmental costs have been paid by someone else.
yes. And another thing is many labor has lose their eyesight because of that dye used in your cloth.
So if you consistently work in such conditions, so they may have those kind of effects on their health.
It's because they have pressure to meet that requirement of in growing industry. Because every time we don't nowadays we don't buy one cloth.
Yeah.
We buy like when I go earlier I used to buy three.
Yeah, but they have that kind of schemes na, to make you buy.
Yes.
Like buy one, get one free, or you take three
when
and you
use
get
credit card, you
discount
get
and all
yes.
that. So it is a very aggressive kind of marketing which makes you buy things without, means even if you don't need it, you buy
Yes.
it.
Now when I am reading this kind of thing, this kind of data, it has like it has sent me into introspection. Why I have bought this much cloth without actual requirement. Then another example is seed and pesticide. What we eat are actually poisoning us on name of food. Because when we are going in market, there is two kind of product which is organically grown and another is grown with fertilizer and pesticide. Normally, organic product does not look good. They does not look healthy, long, and attractive. But when we see that, but the 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 vegetable which is poured with pesticide, they look attractive, healthy, and people are generally attracted toward it. And in name of health, they are eating some disease catalyst thing. And another is air conditioning thing. Apparent we are cooling our room, but as meanwhile we are increasing temperature around us. I have data between after 1901 there is an average rate of increasing temperature 0.14 degree. After 1981 it is doubled 0.32 Fahrenheit degree. There is an increase which is twice the rate earlier. It is growing. It's increased, right? So next time when you switch on air condition, you should know that you are harming your environment in name of cooling your small room.
And it is very important to for the architectural students to know this.
Yes.
Because they are not only switching on the air conditioner in their own house, but they are actually designing spaces for other people who are going to live there, and they may need air conditioning if you are not doing it well now, right? So for designers it is a double responsibility. So they have to be very careful about this.
Another example is paracetamol and birth control pill. Sometimes what we do is when we buy 5 or 6 medicine of paracetamol or anything, which is any medicine for health beneficial, but sometimes it remains and we throw in drainage system, and ultimately it goes to water bodies. And sometimes it is find that fish also generate reproductive problem in themselves, and they are unable to reproduce and expand their population because of this medicine which is put forcefully on them unintentionally from us. And another example is shampoo. Shampoo what we do on our hair. It maybe for a few time it for a day or it make our hair look shiny and beautiful, but half or major part of shampoo go drain into water bodies, and it again pollute our water body. And it is found that many shampoo has an health effect which it leaves us to suffer. That are memory loss, eye irritation, hair follicle damage,
Hmm.
and and cancer, because we don't know the actual ingredient used in the product. We don't even read that. Or our shampoo manufacturer does not bother to mention that a few ingredients which are damaging our health.
Hmm.
Right? Because we never demand for that.
Yeah.
We never ask manufacturer that what are the ingredients you are using in this product.
Hmm.
We never demand. We never read about it.
Yes.
We never inquire about the consequences it will leave us to suffer. And another thing it belong to our field, architect, building.
Hmm.
Because of building there is 23% of air pollution,
Hmm.
40% of drinking water pollution, and 50% of landfill waste.
Hmm.
And because of fast growing real estate business, we are compelled to provide building so that every citizen get affordable building on cost of this pollution. Now I want to share an example. Uh, I attend a webinar during this time, COVID time,
Hmm.
where I seen that a Mumbai-based architect firm which has which has designed a resort in Bodh Gaya, where they use locally built product. लाइक इंडियन टाइल्स जो हम लोग रूफिंग मटेरियल में यूज करते हैं ना,
Hmm.
तो बहुत लगे 5 स्टार रिजोर्ट थी, लेकिन उसने रूफिंग मटेरियल के लिए जो लोकल में कुम्हार बोलते हैं हम लोग बिहार में, कुम्हार लोग जो बनाते हैं छत में
Tiles.
टाइल्स, रूफिंग टाइल्स, हमारे इधर उसको खपड़ा
Clay
बोलते हैं।
tiles.
क्ले टाइल्स हमारे इधर मतलब लोकल भाषा में उसको खपड़ा बोलते हैं।
Hmm.
तो उसने रूफिंग में उसको यूज की, और उसके पीछे उस आर्किटेक्ट का विजन था कि अगर हम लोग बाहर से आ रहे हैं यहाँ बिल्ड कर रहे हैं, हम लोग ऑब्वियसली कमा रहे हैं इससे, लेकिन लोकल को क्या मिल रहा है? तो उसने रूफिंग मटेरियल उस 3-4 लेयर की रूफिंग बनाई थी उस मटेरियल क्ले टाइल की। और इसका एक और बेनिफिट है, इस बुक में मेंशन है कि जब हम लोग लोकल अवेलेबल मटेरियल यूज करते हैं, तो हम लोग जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के लिए जो पोल्यूशन होती है उसको भी मिनिमाइज करते हैं। और क्योंकि सीमेंट इंडस्ट्री ऑब्वियसली बिहार में नहीं होगी तो झारखंड में होगी, तो
Energy be not only
Yes.
pollution, lot of fuel and
Fuel.
energy that we consume for transportation is saved.
नॉन रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्सेस हम लोग बचा सकते हैं। और एक और एग्जांपल था बिहार म्यूजियम जो आपने बोला था visit करने के लिए, वहाँ पे रेस्टोरेंट से अटैच 3 कोर्टयार्ड थी, और मैं वहाँ पे जाके खाना खा रहा था बैठ के, तो मुझे ऐसा नहीं लगा कि मुझे एयर कंडीशन की जरूरत है वहाँ पे। And later on, when I read about that project, that architect that they actually it was designed by Japanese architect, और उसने पटना की क्लाइमेट को स्टडी करके उसके हिसाब से बनाया और एयर कंडीशन के कॉस्ट को मिनिमाइज किया था। और उन्होंने बहुत सारी मटेरियल ऐसी यूज की थी जापानीज आर्किटेक्ट होकर, जैसे कॉटन स्टील जो बिहार में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होती है, कॉटन स्टील और बहुत सारी चीज़ें,
Hmm.
सीमेंट, क्ले टाइल्स, एवरी मतलब मिनिमम थिंग विच आई कैन नॉट इवन इमेजिन अबाउट उस जापानीज आर्किटेक्ट ने यूज की थी।
Hmm.
मे बी उसको
He is a master architect. Fumiko Maki ने किया है वो।
यस
So yes, he is a master architect, means a very senior architect, and yes, he is a very wise architect also.
यस
You must say, because he has thought about all this, and he is really means in our words we always use the word as designing in context. So if you really are aware of that and you are sensitive to the context, then Japanese architect can also come in India and build like Indians.
और मतलब इसको फाइट करने के लिए हम लोग क्या कर सकते थे? लाइक मेनी मैन्युफैक्चर डज नॉट मेंशन दैट इंग्रेडिएंट, और दे आर ब्लाइंड फोल्डिंग अस
Yes.
कि लेट्स हाइड समथिंग। तो इसकी एक एग्जांपल थी, देयर इज इन प्लेस इन केरला नेम्ड स्मॉल विलेज Pala Chimada, there is an Coca-Cola industry set up there, and after setting up that industry, sooner villager found that they ran out of groundwater.
Groundwater is.
They are generating many diseases like skin disease.
Because they must be leaving the chemicals untreated, means untreated waste ground में या ऐसे छोड़ते होंगे ना.
हाँ छोटे थे यहाँ पे उसने इस बुक की एग्जाम्पल है ये. तो उन्होंने बोला कि फिर मतलब जो वहाँ के ग्रामीण थे उनको पता चला कि ये सब हो रहा है. तो ग्रामीण ऐसा अनएजुकेटेड थे और वो गाँव छोटी थी, तो लेकिन डॉक्टर शायद वाइज रहे होंगे, तो डॉक्टर फिर एक्टिविस्ट को बुलाए. फिर एक्टिविस्ट ने थोड़ी रिसर्च की बैकग्राउंड, मतलब एस्पायर काइंड ऑफ थिंग. दे hide themselves in something and go near industry, look around and take out the sample, then send it to researcher. Then फिर उन लोकल लोगों ने फाइट की इसके अगेंस्ट. फिर लोकल लोगों को मतलब जीत हुई उनकी. कोको कोला एक बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री है ग्लोबल. उनके अगेंस्ट इन्होंने अपनी जीत एक छोटा सा. तो इसको बुक में लिखी हुई है कि कलेक्टिव थिंकिंग से हम लोग इसको फाइट कर सकते हैं. फिर और जब हम लोग नेक्स्ट टाइम यहाँ पे एक और वर्ड कोहेरेंट माइंडफुल बाइंग, डीप थिंकिंग, जब हम लोग को सामान लेने जाए तो उस पर पॉन्डर करें कि इट रियली रिक्वायर्ड, maybe it will harm us. Right. These are the steps we can.
And what is the alternative to that? Means there are many alternatives, because all these things we keep buying, and they are pretty new products. Means they are newly introduced to our lifestyles. There were many alternatives also. Like for example, you were telling me about detergents and shampoos and all such cleaning products that we normally use. Means right from our daily soap or the toothpaste, everything. Means we are using all those things, but we had alternatives to those things earlier, just 50 years before. Means they are all natural, and Ayurvedic is such a badly seen word because of many other malpractices. People are now, the Ayurveda is not such a attractive thing for the young generation. But actually, you may call it Ayurveda or not, you may just call it our Indian way of life. So we had so many alternatives to all these things. Means even we used to clean our teeth with this thing, neem, this thing. The bark of the leaf, one leaf, or some such thing. Small means very delicate strings of the neem tree. Or we used to also have these haldi and chandan as our cleaning materials, or they were used. Then you would use besan with milk or something to clean your bodies. That is a very, it is supposed to be a very cleansing this thing. Or they use lots of utranas, means the powders with many Ayurvedic products which are ground together and they make powders, which we use in Diwali nowadays. We only use it for Diwali, but you can actually use it year long because it is very this thing. And basically it is very harmless for the other species and other life on earth. Because you then don't pollute the water bodies or you don't pollute the land, and so the balance of the environment is not disturbed by using these products because they are generated in the nature and you are just using and then giving it back to the nature only for for composting and other things. So detergents are something which harm it. Because they are fast chemicals. The chemicals are also extracted from the nature itself, but they are converted into such a form that they become harmful. So that is means in our lifestyle there are many things that you can really avoid for your own better health and for the environmental health also. So it was good that you read that book and brought out. Yeah.
have one more minute.
Yeah.
इस book में एक example दिया है. There is a brand named Johnson and Johnson
Yes.
who also build cosmetic product, and after
They are actually doing it for babies. And then there is this example. Yes, you can narrate that example.
they are building like cosmetic product for babies and maybe
Yeah.
for elder also they are
Yeah,
building.
for
and
adults.
and sometimes we generate some disease from that cosmetic product, and they also build medicine for the
That-
illness we are getting from their cosmetic products.
So they are giving us the disease and they are also giving us the remedy.
Yeah.
So they are making money two times and
Yeah, in
we
two
are
times.
suffering. Actually, that there was one more, means actually a case against Johnson and Johnson in US. Means that lady actually had kept a record of what she bought. And that is why she could fight that case, and she proved in that she has been buying one skincare product from Johnson and Johnson, which was supposed to be for babies. Means there are many women now who are very much careful about their health, means their skin and hair and other things. So they would buy products made for babies so that they don't get affected, because it is safe for babies, so it must be better. In that manner she thought, and she actually selected a product which was supposed to be for babies, and she consistently used to use that, and she had kept the bills of buying that product. And later on she developed a very, very rare variety of skin cancer, and she somehow connected that with her, because she never changed that product. She was consistently using only that product. So she could prove that, and she realized that that product is causing cancer, and she stopped using that product. But her cancer was quite in advanced stage, and she had to face the repercussions. And she took medicines and all the therapies, and she got out of it. But she fought a long case against the company, and she could prove that that product only has caused this thing. So the company had to, means it's a giant company. So you may imagine the kind of effort and the kind of pressure she must have got under to run that case. But she did it, and she actually won that case. She could prove that that product has caused the cancer, and the company had to retract that product from the market, and they had to pay her a hefty amount of damage as compensation. So that is a case in US courts which has gone against the listing. And there are many such incidents where various different companies, means the customers have fought cases and they have won because they could prove that particular product has damaged their health or some other thing. So that is this thing. As you were saying, collective thinking or even fighting for this thing, but that is a second stage. But if you don't at first stage only, if you don't encourage these products by buying them, then obviously those companies won't get so big. So good that you chose that book, and it must have been an eye-opener in many ways for you. And I hope that you keep that wisdom from that book with you for your future life and through your career also, because as I said, it is important for architects to remember this, and that is why we are now having a lot of green architecture and sustainable practices, etc., being discussed. But we should all keep them in mind, because in some small way you are really making a difference to the environment through your practices. Like they may be your lifestyle practices or they may be your design practices. And there are better alternatives, of course, which are more not only environment friendly, but they are also more beautiful, more spatially more interesting and all that. The other day I was talking to these third year people. I am taking their contemporary architecture. So I had come across a TED talk, which is given by a very famous architect, London-based architect, Thomas Heatherwick. And he does a lot of very large-scale projects. So I was not aware of it, but someone, my friend, forwarded it to me, and then I saw, and then I thought, okay, I should share this with the students. So I had also put it on the VPSY official group. So some of you may have seen it. It is there on the group. You can go to that link and see it for yourself. So basically, there he was talking about the epidemic of boring. So he was saying our architecture of the cities, urban areas, is becoming so boring because it is very monotonous and it doesn't have many exciting buildings. All the buildings look alike. They are using same materials and same kind of design practices. So it's all very boring. So let us come out of it and let us question this kind of a design. And then he showed examples of his own practice, saying how we are trying to break free from this epidemic of boring. And then he also raises some questions about climate and environment and our response to that, etc. All these questions, like what we were discussing, the daylight and thermal comfort and all that, and how it can be achieved through better design rather than mechanical things. So he has discussed that. It is only a small 15-20 minutes talk because it is a TED talk. So obviously it is short, but you can all look at it and maybe have your own opinions about it. So it is an ongoing debate actually. Yes. Yeah.
मैं एक जो उस दिन आप बोले थे उस बुक के बारे में, लेटर टू एन यंग आर्किटेक्ट,
Yeah. Latest one.
उन्होंने एक लाइन लिखी थी अपने बुक में कि हम आर्किटेक्ट फेल्ड हैं इस मतलब लो मतलब बेसिक ह्यूमन लेवल तक, मतलब वाइड स्प्रेड आर्किटेक्चरल की जो विजन है ना, तो हम लोग स्प्रेड नहीं कर पाए, हम लोग वो अवेयरनेस नहीं फैला पाए सोसाइटी में जो ऑडियंस को चाहिए थी. वी आर concentrated to few group of society, like maybe upper.
Yeah. Only elite. We have been able to serve only the elite.
और बहुत टाइम इस बिल्डर क्या करते हैं, ग्रीन पैच को दिखाते हैं बिल्डिंग में और बोलते हैं तुम्हारा ये बिल्डिंग सस्टेनेबल है, ग्रीन बिल्डिंग है, बट व्हाट एवर द मटेरियल वी आर यूजिंग आफ्टरवर्ड, फॉर सैंड वी आर डिगिंग डीप इनसाइड रिवर. एक रियल इंसिडेंट था, जो मेरा गांव है वो रिवर के बगल में, तो फ्लड इफेक्टेड एरिया है. मेरा घर अलग है, मतलब मेरा घर फ्लड एरिया में नहीं आता. और तो क्या करते, बहुत लोग वहाँ सेंड निकाले जाते हैं, तो वहाँ पे सेंड डिग करते हैं फिर बेचते हैं, और वहाँ पे पुलिस आती है, पुलिस ब्राइब लेके करती है. तो मैंने पूछा पापा से कि ये क्या हो रहा है, और बोले कि मतलब यहाँ के लोग उस पे जीते भी और मरते भी हैं, so we cannot do much about that. So
Exactly.
it is
You cannot,
two-way sword
you cannot
kind of thing.
enjoy it all the time because it is going to catch up with you. Means if it is, you are disturbing the link of the environment and the environment is going to catch up with you. Means actually the sand beds are for filtering the water. Means, and also they are they sustain the water inside the vessel of the river. If you dig that sand, then that filtering mechanism is gone and it cannot even hold the water. So it spreads like that because if the sand is replaced by mud, which is coming from this thing, and then the river spreads. Means there is flooding and all that. So it is going to catch up. Means everywhere this practice of taking out sand from the river beds for construction is really detrimental to environment, and everywhere that is happening. And as you say, malpractices are also happening on a large scale. Now they have come up with the crushed stone powder as alternative to sand. But that again has a very great environmental impact in the long run because then we are cutting all our hills and all our mountains, and one day we will have a flat country because everything has been dug up.
Tomorrow only I had seen a mountain there, half cut.
Yeah, you can see all these hills along with the Baramati Road. There you see, means they call it Gaun Khanij, means the murum that we specify na, for roads or for filling in plinth and foundation. We always specify the murum of good quality. So where does murum of good quality come from? It comes from the hills only. So hills are being cut. And all these lakhs of kilometers of highways that we are building nowadays, that even though it gives connectivity to remote areas, it is actually finishing all our hills and mountains. Because so much of basalt and granite is being brought for doing roads. All that is...
I have seen an alternative to that road, filling forward. there is an powder which is ash powder उसे बोलते हैं कोयला।
हाँ
मतलब बिहार में बहुत सारी इलेक्ट्रिक जनरेशन प्लांट है क्योंकि
Yeah.
बहुत सारी रिवर है वहाँ पे।
हाँ, thermal power plants.
पावर प्लांट बहुत सारी है। तो वो लोग क्या करते हैं, जो भी डस्ट जनरेट होता है
हाँ.
जब हाईवे बनती है तो मुर्मूम की जगह वो लोग
वो
पाउडर यूज करते हैं और
But
बहुत
that
अच्छी
is
होती
only means what you can say, recycling the
Yeah.
byproduct of the thermal energy. Basically, there is a great objection for the thermal power plants itself. Because there are two these things, means you are taking out coal and burning it to make energy, thermal energy, and thermal energy is being converted into electrical energy.
Yes.
So it is a very what you can say, means costly process in terms of environment. Because by taking out coal itself is means you are damaging so many means jungle area na. Coal is under in the earth's surface, so you are already destroying the jungles on the surface to go to the coal. And then you there are so many exploitative practices in the coal mines, that is also very famous. And then you bring that coal and burn it and make thermal energy and then make electrical energy. And you use that electrical energy again to say, if you are saying that your diesels and this diesel and all these bio fuels are going to be now replaced by electrical vehicles. So there was this one famous debate about how these e-vehicles are not going to be really environmental friendly, because that energy, electrical energy, you are making from thermal energy by burning the coal and all. So you are already raising the temperature, because all these thermal power plants have the cities in which the thermal power plants are situated already have 2-3 degrees because of the this thing. 2-3 degrees centigrade temperature is increased of all these places. And basically, I think Gandhiji had given that thought about being local at that time. He was saying you should draw all your building materials only from a 50-kilometer radius, because that is the distance from which you can bring the material in using ox carts. Means you are not depending on any other kind of energy, but the renewable energy, ox carts. So you should build your homes only out of that. So then the regionality and the local flavor of the architecture, everything is intact. But anyway, we have gone in other direction right from the beginning.
In this book there is a term LCA. LCA में उन्होंने बताया कि जो भी प्रोडक्ट है वो स्टार्टिंग से लेके एंड प्रोडक्ट तक प्रोडक्ट उसमें क्या क्या मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सिस्टम यूज की गई है उसको हम लोग कैसे चेक करेंगे। तो हम लोग अपने आर्किटेक्चर लाइफ में भी अप्लाई कर सकते हैं कि फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग टू एंड प्रोडक्ट वी नीड टू चेक दैट एवरी प्रोडक्ट वी आर यूजिंग सेफ, क्लीन and locally available, and which makes sense to environment.
Right. So we can see at least in our this thing if we can replace that product with some local product, because obviously means you are giving encouraging the local economy and keeping all the other environmental costs at a minimum. So that is the only thing we can do, and even as architects we can think about being more local than more global. And there is also saying ki, how much local you are, you become that much global.
Yes.
Because local is local na everywhere. Maybe there might, but your concepts and your design strategies are local. That means they are global. So you don't have to think in much different. Anyway, I think shall we now proceed to the book, because we thought that we would actually begin the book. Now this is a very interesting book in terms of its the way they wrote it. You should all learn about how this Christopher Alexander was also a great architect, and he was basically a thinker, architectural thinker. So this book is based on the experiments and the way they mapped various things, and then when they sat and looked back at those mapping exercises, they thought that some patterns are emerging from that. And that is why they brought it into a book saying that the pattern language. So they say that there is a language of patterns. Means like in language, there are syllables, na? We use words, and then there are some grammatical rules by which those words come together, and then you form sentences, and then you talk to one another, you express your feelings, and that is how language goes on developing. So the same way, in design also, the language goes on developing by small elements and the patterns those elements make with one another, and then those patterns make sentences, and then you can create a language of visuals. So that is the understanding of this thing. I think I will start with the whatever means the first this thing in the on the back on the cover itself, on the second back cover, it says a pattern language, towns, buildings, and construction by Christopher Alexander, Sarah Ishikawa, and Ray Silverstein, with Max Jacobson, Ingrid Fixdal, King, and Shlomo Angel. Now, I think these are all collaborators of Christopher Alexander who have not only collaborated on the writing the book, but they were probably involved in the mapping exercises also. So further they say you can use this book to design a house for yourself with your family. You can use it to work with your neighbors to improve your town and neighborhood. You can use it to design an office or a workshop or a public building. And you can use it to guide you in the actual process of construction. So basically this book is not meant for architects. It is like a do-it-yourself kind of a manual where everyone, any lay person can just pick up the book and look at the patterns in which things come together. And so you can use that knowledge or that kind of a pattern or a formula to do design for yourself, whatever space that you want to do. So after a 10-year silence, Christopher Alexander and his colleagues at the Center for Environmental Structure are now publishing a major statement in the form of 3 books, which will, in their words, lay the basis for an entirely new approach to architecture, building and planning, which will, we hope, replace existing ideas and practices entirely. So basically, this is challenging the existing way of design and existing people who are designing. So this is giving it back to people, saying you all can design your own spaces. There is no need for architects or designers. If you understand how the spaces come together by using this book, you can just understand that, and then you can design your own space. That is what he's saying. So I think it is, in one way, the book is democratizing the process of design. So design, which was earlier limited to a few designers who have sort of learned it by going to colleges or by listening to principles, means whatever, means in the following a certain process, they have been educated as designers, and then only they can design. So that is a myth, they say. It is not like that. People can design for themselves, and we only need to give them some formulas or thumb rules by which they can understand the process of design, and then they can design for themselves. Right? So this book is, they are saying, it will lay a basis, I will read it again, it will lay a basis for entirely new approach to architecture, building and planning, which will, we hope, replace existing ideas and practices entirely. Okay. The 3 books, The Timeless Way of Building, The Oregon Experiment, and this book, A Pattern Language, are described on the back cover. So we will read that also later. At the core of these books is the idea that people should design for themselves, their own houses, streets, and communities. This idea may be radical. Radical means, आपण ज्याला मराठीमध्ये बंडखोर म्हणतो, की it is going against the existing norms. So this idea may be radical. It implies a radical transformation of the architectural profession also. But it comes simply from the observation that most of the wonderful places of the world were not made by architects, but by people. Right? The way I was discussing with you today in the class about the Core Town Road, which is more lively probably than any of the designed roads. Huh? So you will miss, this is the same idea that he's saying the most wonderful places of the world were not designed by architects but by the people. At the core of the books too is the point that in designing their environments, people always rely on certain languages. So where does this language come from? It is inbuilt. They are saying that people do it instinctively. They are not going to any, means they have not gone to any design college or anything, but they have that instinct. है ना? You must have known is anyone, like even if a small migrant family who are shifting from one place to another place by taking their all those belongings with them. There are many such nomadic people in India where there are these shepherds who go by taking from farm to farm. They take their sheep, and the sheep sits in the farm for some days, and they or this thing is used as a organic manure, right? Their shit is used as organic manure. So they go on from one farm to another farm. The farmers pay them for sitting, letting the sheep sit in the farm. The farmers actually pay them, and then they move on to the next farm for next week. So how do they have their houses? They have their houses with them. They have the tents and all these things. They go and set up their small house there, and then they live for whatever 8-10 days as the agreement is, and then they move to the further next farm, which is maybe a couple of kilometers away or maybe couple of miles away in some other this thing, wherever the invitation has come. So they move it there. Or there are some other kinds of nomadic people also who are not settlers of one place, but they carry their home along with them. So if you visit such tents and things, you will see that they also have some instinctive arrangement of the things in their makeshift home, in whatever small area. Things will have their own place, and it will all be organized to their own functional needs. है ना? Even if when we are traveling in a train compartment, we instinctively arranged our suitcases and bags in such a way that whatever time that we are spending in that corner of that compartment, maybe for some hours or 1.5 days or something, that we arrange it instinctively. We design our space there using whatever is available, whatever space is available. So that is an instinct that people have for designing. So that is what they are saying. At the core of the books is the point that in designing their environments, now they are calling it environments. So it doesn't mean one space or the other space, but it means different kinds of environments in which they are staying. People always rely on certain languages, which, like the languages we speak, allow them to articulate and communicate an infinite variety of designs within a formal system which gives them coherence. Now, here again, the second important thing is allows them to articulate and communicate. Now, this is a very important word, I think. Articulate is we try to beautify whatever we do. Articulate is putting it nicely, right? So we say that, like, he cannot speak articulately. What does that mean? Yes, it's okay. He can express himself, but not more than that. So his style of putting it is not very nice, or so that is articulation. Means I am saying I'm saying a certain thing or a certain sentence, but I can also say it in a more articulate manner. है ना? So I am saying it in a better way by choosing my words carefully, so that the same meaning can be conveyed in a better manner or a better way. So that is articulation. That is why we keep on talking to you about how you are going to articulate this form. So just building 4 walls is not design. We say you have to put it more articulate manner. So that means beautifying. It is much more than beautifying, of course. So articulate and communicate. So you are also communicating through that visual language. Like now I am communicating verbally. But in design, what we do is we try to communicate using the objects and the planes and the forms and whatever. So you are not there to The architect is not there all the time to tell what is his concept and what he wants to say. But the thing that you have designed itself is communicating to the audience or the viewer or the user, right? So articulate and communicate is also a purpose of the design. So allow them to articulate and communicate an infinite variety of designs. They is saying not only one way. There are infinite varieties and designs can be communicated through this visual language within a formal system which gives them coherence. So this is what they are saying about the book. Now we will go to the back cover and read the again. This I will read the not the blur. This is blur. That is the back cover, but back cover means this inside the so this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. You can count it like that. So the third page you can say this book provides a language of this kind. It will enable a person to make a design for almost any kind of building or any part of the built environment. Patterns, the units of this language, are answers to design problems. How high should a window sill be? How many stories should a building have? How much space in the neighborhood should be devoted to grass and trees? Questions means answers to such small questions, but they are finding it through patterns. They are observing how people have tackled this question, and then they are putting down all those observations together, saying that people do it this way. Now you can choose any one of the way, whatever you think is most beautiful. Yeah. So more than 250 of the patterns in this pattern language are given. Each consists of a problem statement, a discussion of the problem with an illustration, and a solution. Now, how that solution has come? That solution has also come from the observation. So these are small research papers, you can say. If they are setting themselves a small question, then they are going around observing how people have solved it, and then they're recording all these things, and then they're putting it as a pattern. This is the solution, how people have found it. So they are not giving any solution. They are only trying to give you different options, how people have designed it. Now you can decide for yourself what pattern you would like to use, or you may invent your own pattern by taking the wisdom of all these patterns. So there are many possibilities for design, right? So that is very nice thing. No? Means in 3 statements, each consists of a problem statement. Means you are stating what is your problem, a discussion of the problem with an illustration, and a solution. So all 3 things are there. As the authors say in their introduction, many of the patterns are archetypal. Now, what is an archetype? Can someone just check it on this thing? Let us see what is the definition. Archetype is a established type or a established pattern which has a specific meaning. That is what is my understanding. Now you just check what it says. ARCHETYP.
A very typical example of a certain person or thing.
Yeah. So it is a very typical example. So means the type has established. So that is archetype. Like for example, means I will just give a very crude example. In our Indian culture, putting a bindi means some marital status of a lady. Okay. So that is the archetype. Or you fold your hands together. So that is a salute. Right? So, or you fold your hands like this, that means either you are seeking something, or you are using this as a container for something. So that is the archetype, that is the established meaning. So you don't have to describe that meaning to everyone, because it is already established. People know this means this. So that is the archetype. Okay. So they are saying that many of the patterns are archetypal, so deeply rooted in the nature of things that it seems like likely that they will be a part of human nature and human action as much in 500 years as they are today. So the archetype doesn't change. It goes on with the culture. So they are saying that the meaning will not change in the later 500 years also. It is so ingrained in the culture and in the association of people. Okay, so about the author, Christopher Alexander, winner of the first medal for research ever awarded by the American Institute of Architects, is a practicing architect and builder, professor of architecture at the University of California, Berkeley. Now, I am not sure whether he is still living. Just check out. He was, when this book came out, he was obviously living and he was still working as professor in University of California. Murray Silverstein also teaches at the University of California and has written several articles on pattern languages. Max Jacobson has a PhD, still living. Yeah, 17th March. Yeah. I remember because we remembered him and pattern language, etc. I think I had also put a post in our group, college group. Anyway, Max Jacobson has a PhD in architecture and also teaches at the University of California. Ingrid Pixtal King is an architect and painter. Shlomo Angel has a PhD in city planning and now teaches at the Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok. The 6 of them, together with others, have worked for 8 years to write this book. So, as I was saying, they have actually worked on field to collect all the patterns, and then they went on to write the book. So, obviously, it's a very patiently and very lovingly done book, and I hope we will enjoy reading it. Can someone read the introduction part? Oh, we have overshot our time. So maybe we will start reading in the next session, in the next week. Yeah, you can of course read it meanwhile in the week also sometime. Okay. So thank you for joining us in this session of Reading Club and Reading Together. And thank you, Satyam, for participating, means actually volunteering to do a book review. And you are the first one who has volunteered to do that. So really, congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.